So facts and figures are no doubt a vital part of your pitch deck, but when communicating that big idea of yours, it's not the data on the slides that win hearts and minds, it's how you communicate that data. It's impressive storytelling that will help you stand out in a crowd. Picture this, you're stood in a room filled with people who have the power to change the course of your organization and transform your life. What's more, most of the nervous people who stand in front of these investors will fail in their quest to secure funding, and that's just the cold hard reality of it. But the question is, how do you shift the odds in your favor? How do you convince this influential audience that you have what it takes? What can you do to give yourself that extra edge that makes investors remember your pitch from the hundreds of thousands they've heard before? The answer, my friends, lies in storytelling. Hello, my name's Ash and I'm the founder of Storyteller. In this video, we'll be looking at 3 things that make a good idea irresistible. Let's start with the assumption that you've covered the basics. You've got a solid idea, a great team, and you've identified a strong market opportunity. Your slide deck, however beautiful, however compelling, however positive, doesn't quite have the pull to make most investors lean forwards in their chair. But figure out how to boil your journey down to tangible human emotions that we all recognize, and you'll have the makings of a great story. Storytelling is not just about fancy adjectives or complex metaphors. It's about telling an honest, compelling story that fires the imagination. And these 3 tips will give you a starting point to perfect your storytelling skills before you even think about pitching your idea. So number 1, know that our brains are hardwired to respond to stories. Those cave paintings back in the day weren't just a way to pass time. Since the earliest humans, we've been telling stories. They have a really important role in our evolutionary and cultural narrative. Stories helped our ancestors to understand the world around them, things like how to find food, avoid danger, to reinforcing group bonds, and also grounding our sense of self. And what's even more interesting is that studies have shown that our brains react to stories as if we're experiencing the events ourselves. Princeton neuroscientist Uri Hansen says this: "A story is the only way to activate parts in the brain so a listener turns the story into their own idea and experience." So when you deliver all the elements of a good story, conflict, compelling characters, resolution, your listeners' brains light up. It's baked into our DNA, and it's the reason why successful leaders are often fantastic storytellers. So by transforming your pitch into a story, your investors live and breathe it with you, making it incredibly engaging and memorable. 2, stories make things personal. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. Making it personal so it's relatable. Make it personal so it's relatable. And remember this, it doesn't always mean that your story should all be all about you. In fact, consider casting customers or even your investor as the hero in your story. Another quick tip here is to pick your pronouns wisely. It doesn't have to always be I, we, or them. And remember, the great thing about a story is that it shrinks down lots of complex ideas into a single narrative. 3, a great story compels investors to want to find out more. Think about your favorite box set. Why do you stay up way longer than you should just to watch just one more episode? Is because you're being pulled along by a skilled storyteller. You don't want to find out what happens next, you have to know. So if you can leave your investors feeling like they have to know where your story goes, then you're probably doing an excellent job at making a lasting impression. So don't be tempted to tie up your pitch narrative with a bow. Leave some wonder in there, a sense that this is the start of an exciting journey rather than the end of the road. So here's a quick summary. 1, our brains are hardwired to listen to stories. So learn those techniques and connect with your audience with much more impact. Number 2, make things personal. Personal stories are much more memorable. Number 3, leave them wanting more. Add intrigue so investors are compelled to want to be part of your journey. Stories are incredibly powerful, and while they can't transform a bad concept into a great one, they can make sure that exciting ideas get the attention they deserve. So start building your storytelling skills today so you can move your big ideas forward faster. If this video was helpful, please let me know by commenting below, and if you'd like to see more of this content, please hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, take care and keep telling stories.